Thank you for once again for watching me, YouTube. We're going to get some formalities out of the way, and then we're going to hit some music. First and foremost, generallynerdy.net is the website, generallynerdy.net. Come visit me. Facebook.com/generallynerdy, at generallynerdy on Twitter and on Instagram. You can find me on all these places. Hit up the website one more time, generallynerdy.net, and cue some music.
Generally Nerdy.
And we're back from the music. I hope you guys dig the tune, by the way. It's my handiwork. All of the music that plays on this channel, I have something to do with, whether or not I'm a member of the band or the sole proprietor of said music. So I always put links to it. Go check it out. And we're off to the races. Hitting a couple of follow-ups to start off the episode. Still no official announcement for Cable as far as who he's going to be cast as for the Deadpool 2 movie and subsequently X-Force and Deadpool 3 and all of these movies we know we're getting. Though, kind of awesome potential news. It's totally speculative at this moment, but some images have leaked for promotional material for Deadpool 2 with Zazie Beetz as Domino and potentially an animated version of Colossus again, but Brad Pitt? It looks like Brad Pitt will be Cable. Again, completely speculative, but that artwork does show Zazie, and it's pretty clearly Brad Pitt's face on a mangled Cable body. So I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan. Fight Club kind of did it for me. That was the movie, and Brad Pitt was the dude in that movie. So if that's the case, and it's not those 5 from last week's episode, then holy hell, that's going to be awesome. Other updates. Zombieland 2, nothing from CinemaCon. Absolutely nothing. So who knows if they're actually pushing as hard as they said they were for Deadpool 2, as they are for... who knows if they're pushing as hard as they did for Deadpool, like they said they were for Zombieland 2. Lord only knows. Time will tell. Hopefully something will happen from that because, again, I did love Zombieland. You should love Zombieland. If you've never seen it, go see Zombieland. Netflix, iTunes, whatever you got to do. But yeah, so that's what we got for updates. And we're moving on. Starting with normal stuff, like we usually do, movies. The whole episode's going to be pretty short this week, so we're just kind of going to pound through this. First, movie stuff, the cast of the Power Rangers movie. Slight spoiler alert ahead. I have not seen the movie, though this is a little bit of a spoiler, so I'm not really giving away any plot details necessarily, but this is how the movie ended, so spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, we're moving on. The Green Ranger, the cast of the movie wants the Green Ranger to be female. Something that I kind of had the thought of when I was a kid, because there's 3 guys and 2 girls that started off. The original 5 is balanced as such. And then we get introduced to a new Ranger who starts off as a bad guy. The Green Ranger is a creation of Rita. And she uses him to try, kind of like Smurfette in the Smurfs. Gargamel creates Smurfette to infiltrate the Smurfs. That's why she's the only girl. So kind of the same thing, only in reverse. Green Ranger's a bad guy trying to infiltrate the Power Rangers, and then it's a big battle and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I thought when I was a kid, it seems a little imbalanced that now that the Green Ranger's good, that there's 4 guys and still just 2 girls on this Power Ranger squad. So, the cast of the new movie agrees with my childhood thoughts, and they want to see the Green Ranger turn into a girl. Tommy can be a girl's name, a little bit of a tomboy girl, but still a girl. Totally within the realm of possibility. At the end of the movie, it was super ambiguous. Apparently, they say the name Oliver, the last name obviously they're calling Roll, and they show a notebook, and there's no person, there's no actor attached to that name yet at all, not even casting wise. So in the sequel, the cast wants the Green Ranger, Tommy, to be a female, which would be kind of awesome. I'm totally down for that change. I don't know. I don't know what it is that dictates the changes that make sense and the ones that don't. I haven't been able to quite put my thumb on it, because some changes totally make sense and some changes don't. Like making Iron Fist Asian made sense to me. They didn't go that way, but they could have, and it wouldn't have been a big thing. Making the Green Ranger a female makes sense to me. Whether or not they actually do that, if they stick with the original storyline, only time will tell. But totally a change that makes sense. And moving on. So Spider-Man has released a second trailer, and it's kind of awesome. So now that Spider-Man is properly a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it looks like they're going to make better movies finally. So again, this movie hasn't come out yet, so we don't know 100% that it's going to be great. But all of the stuff that's leading up, it looks like it's going to be pretty great. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan, so they could take certain liberties and probably would get away with it. But the Vulture, and just it's gonna be a great reintroduction to Spider-Man. We're not gonna rehash his origin story because we already know it, and they don't have to tell us again. But in that vein, Sony, because they own the rights to Spider-Man and all Spider-Man related properties, so the Spider-Verse, if you will, because they own that, they own Venom, and they're gonna make a Venom movie, which is awesome. Venom is actually one of my favorite things about Spider-Man. Venom and Carnage is actually the villain that I love from Spider-Man. There's a great Deadpool versus Carnage book. You should check it out if you like either of those two characters. Anyway, birdwalking. They're making a Venom movie, which is awesome. However, there's not going to be any Spider-Man in the Venom movie, which is weird. There's no way you can do Venom without having Spider-Man. The symbiote understands the world through its connection to Spider-Man, and therefore that's why Venom has spider-like abilities, is because it linked to Peter Parker first. So how in the hell are you going to create a Venom movie with no Spider-Man? Doesn't make sense. In other trailers, we finally got a trailer for the It reboot, Stephen King's It. I didn't really like the movie when I was a kid. I haven't honestly seen it for a long time, so I have no resignation about, oh, the new movie's going to completely bastardize the original. I don't really care because I'm not a big Stephen King fan. He's words over content. That's a whole nother video. Anyway, it looks like it's a modern adaptation. I don't know what else to tell you. Because of that, I feel like they're going to have a lot of jump scares. It's going to be a lot of really mediocre modern horror tropes. There is the potential that it could be a legitimate scary movie. I do not anticipate liking it, though. Unfortunately, that's just the way of horror movies anymore, and that's all I've got on that. So, moving on. Alicia Vikander. I didn't know they were rebooting the Lara Croft movies, Tomb Raider movies. So this might be old news to anyone who's watching this, but Alicia Vikander is going to be the new Lara Croft, and there's some production shots out there now, and she looks really good. It looks like they're going off of the video game reboot from 2013. Vikander, we know she can handle herself in the acting side of things. How she's going to handle the physical part of it, being the Tomb Raider, I don't know. But she can act. She is a hell of an actor. So I want to see that movie. I want to be entertained by that story one more time to see if they can do it well. And then we're moving on. And in our last bit of movie news, with the death of Carrie Fisher and the soon-to-be-released Last Jedi movie. We know that whatever footage they had was in the can long before she died. So whatever footage they had, they didn't have to alter anything. So we're not going to get another computer-generated Leia, probably. But it was announced recently that her fate in the movies is unchanged by the death of Carrie Fisher. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean if they need the character in the future, they're going to computer generate her one more time? Probably. The other strong possibility is Leia dies in The Last Jedi. Let that sink in, because they're killing off all of our favorites. Hopefully they give her a hero's death if she dies, and she goes out strong like she deserves. The character of Princess Leia and Admiral Leia, or whatever you want to give her, whatever title you want to give her, deserves a grand death. She is probably one of the strongest female characters in nerd culture throughout history. So if she goes out like Darth Maul, we all thought Darth Maul did initially and just kind of was there for a second and gone, then I don't think they did her justice. But Disney Lucas has been doing justice by pretty much everyone recently, so I don't think that's the way they're going to go. I honestly think they're going to just put her into the background. I don't think they're going to kill her, but I very possibly could be wrong, because all signs point to the death of Leia. And that's it for movie news. We're moving into video games and comic books. So, no, that's it for movie news. We are moving into TV next. News on television. TV shows that we watch. Westworld. You owe it to yourself to watch the first season of Westworld. It picks up a little slow, don't get me wrong, like the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. There's a lot they have to introduce us to, and that introduction is a little slow because you have to learn the world. So give it time. After about episode 5, you're going to be hooked. But, new announcement, if you have not watched the first season of Westworld, then stop watching right now or skip ahead about a minute and a half. Louis Herthum, I'm not sure which one he goes by, but the guy who played Dolores' father originally at the beginning of the series, not the guy who was reprogrammed as such, was just announced as a season or a series regular. So that guy, that host, is going to be, I just don't know what the implications are. Maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about it. There's just so much possibility with where they could be going with the hosts becoming aware, self-aware, just this artificial intelligence getting out of hand. The possibilities are incredible, and let me process it and we'll talk about it next week. Other television news. CW has started production on Black Lightning. Never read the books. It's really, in this age of diversity, I feel like this is one of the best ways. We have a new character. I mean, don't send me hate mail. I know he's not that new. But he is new to the CW verse, and he's an original character. He's not somebody else. He didn't start off as a white male. He's his own black male character, and the CW, it hasn't really done that bad. I mean, Legends of Tomorrow hit some speed bumps, and there's a whole lot of really stereotypical superhero TV there, but still an original character, and Black Lightning has a lot behind it with the Berlanti verse and all that stuff. So, going to be good at the very least. Whether or not it's great, time will only tell. I don't think they'll ever be able to top the Flash. That Flash show is pretty awesome. Other TV news, we've got Walking Dead. Watch last week's episode. Oh my God. This show, anyone who doubts the fact that this show is the best thing on television right now, you really have not been watching the same show I've been watching. Negan is just so horrible, I just can't even react, and I watched it 2 days ago. So, watch The Walking Dead, the best entertainment on television right now. That's it for TV stuff. if you've got more stuff you want me to talk about, you want to start a conversation with me, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking about the stuff that I like and that I love and that I think other people are going to love too. So, moving on, we're going into a little bit of video games / comic book area. Injustice 2 is coming soon, about 2 months out I think is where we're at, and they keep announcing characters, and so keep your ears to the ground on that. But they're still really ambiguous about who the big bad is. Last in Injustice 1, it was Superman in this alternate reality. So who is it going to be in Injustice 2? How are they going to continue this story? And it looks like, judging by a Jim Lee variant cover for the comic books, the first book, books have yet to start. I need to actually stop by my comic book store and get it on my pull list. But it looks like the big bad's going to be Brainiac, which means they're going to be playing off of the multiverse series that they started in the books last year. So that's kind of epic. Like, that's probably some of my favorite writing in comic books for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. So I really dig all of the multiverse stuff. It's part of the reason why I like the first game so much, aside from the fact that it's made by NetherRealm, the guys who make Mortal Kombat. It was a great game, and the story was really interesting too. I felt like that was a strong driving factor for that game, was its story. So it'll be really awesome to see Brainiac and the multiverse come into play in Injustice 2, and how are we going to get different skins from across the multiverse again? Because that was also a fantastic element of that game, was you could be Darkest Night, or Blackest Night rather, Batman as a zombie, like all of the skins, give me skins. But yeah, so Injustice 2 shaping up to be fantastic. Watch the trailers. There's 3 trailers out now about the storyline in the video game, and then the comic book's going to fill in those holes from video game 1 to video game 2. And that's it for that. And then the last little bit, just general nerd stuff. I mean, this is generally nerdy, so it makes sense. I photograph a lot of cosplayers. I've interviewed some for Eclectica Cafe. I've interviewed some for this show. So cosplay is a thing. Certain cons, certain Comic Cons and other nerd conventions embrace cosplay. They will have professional cosplayers as their guests. So effectively they get a booth. I don't know if it's discounted or free, or I don't know exactly how that side of the world works yet. I will get there. No, never you worry. I will get to the point where I can explain all of the behind the scenes to you. However, at this current juncture, I know certain cons will pay cosplayers to be there. To what extent, I'm not entirely sure. I just know some cons invite them, some cons pay for them to be there to some extent. That being said, there is now a cosplay talent agency based out of LA, so it's probably hard to get on with them. Although they just opened a couple days ago, a week ago maybe, but they apparently have connections across the world, all the way over into Asia, which makes sense because there's a lot of cosplay that comes out of China and Japan and such. It's the name of the company is CosPlay, K-O-S-P-R-E, Cosplay, something. Sounds a little offensive. Anyway, cosplay, it's a thing. Whether or not you're offended by the name, I feel like is fairly irrelevant, because it opens up different opportunities for people who might not have the ability to animate but still want to participate in their particular fandom. That being said, I want to thank everybody for watching again this week. GenerallyNerdy.net is the website. I do post a lot of stuff up there, articles, links to awesome cosplay, pictures of awesome cosplay. If you want to watch previous episodes in Weekend Nerdom, you can find links hanging out right here on the channel, probably in the screen right about there. If you want to check out anything else I've done, there's links all over the place. And I thank you for watching, and we will see you next. But before we go, there is one thing you must remember. If it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.